Hey there, everybody. What's going on? Ignore the moderately censored label there. Got a recent item shipped from Amazon, and figured I'd unbox it because there's something that I want to, I figured I'll show it off. Why not? But I also want to talk about this because this is a bit of a hot topic right now. Something that I've been kind of wanting to do again lately has been reviews. Video game reviews, movie reviews, etc. People used to enjoy those. And I figure, why not, you know, cave in, give it. So, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to start with this, but I wanted to just kind of touch on something. And you'll see what it is once I have this open. Some of you probably already know what this is. One second. This is a bit more complicated than it looks like with just one. So I'm going to set this down real quick. I am a master of sucking at this. Okay, big box goes bye-bye. There we go. And ta-da! There it is. The Order 1886 Collector's Edition. Now, that's what I want to talk about. Because, okay, I have seen some of the most ridiculous things in the world about this game. I've seen people insist that everybody wants to hate it just because it's a Sony exclusive. I've seen people insist that because it's a Sony exclusive, it deserves extra flack because Sony does not give good games, which is not true, but I'm going to touch on that later. I've seen people hating on this game just because, it's popular to do. I've seen people who haven't even touched the game insist that they've cleared this thing in under 2 hours. I've seen people who clearly haven't touched the game claim that there are only 2 hours of gameplay and 5 hours of cutscenes in a 7-hour game, even though the confirmed length of cutscene time adds up to 2 hours and 10 minutes. Now, the reason that I want to talk to you guys about this, though, is because, well, to be perfectly blunt, it's ridiculous. Now, I want to talk first about some of the people who are going to some pretty ridiculous lengths to defend this. There have been people who have insisted that, it's a Sony exclusive, so everybody wants it to fail. The media is owned by MS. To a degree, that's true. To a degree, no. Before you fly off the deep end, let me explain. It is true that Microsoft does have a lot of media power, which is what people are pointing to when they say that. I should have clarified that, I'm sorry. That, Microsoft has a lot of sway in American media. They have their fingers in it. So, of course, they're going to, get better press. And so far, that's actually been true. I mean, when the PS4 was selling well, there were all these articles about, why is it selling well? But nothing that really seemed, out to sabotage it or anything. Just kind of seemed unnecessarily questioning. Now, as I show off this very, very awesome Steelbook case, I want to talk to you about that. Because, it's just, that is pretty. Look at that. It's kind of ridiculous to a degree, because other games that have been Sony exclusives that have performed well, such as The Last of Us Remastered, that has... that was accepted pretty well. Now, some sites did give it some, what I think are kind of ridiculously low reviews. But at the same time, I can't really 100% complain about everything that has been said or done about this game. And the reason for that... Well, that's not good. Please say that you just pop right back in there. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, I may have broken it. Okay. Anyway, this kind of popped off, but from the look of the pegs, it just goes right back in there. So, anyway, that's the statue, and it's very, very nicely detailed, as you can see. To a degree, I can kind of understand some frustration too, because while the media hasn't necessarily been bashing it just because it's a Sony exclusive, a lot of people in like comment sections, whatnot. But at the same time, I mean, there's been some ridiculous pushback to this, like people insisting that if you don't like this game, then you just all you care about is multiplayer. If you don't like this game, then you're just a dude, bro. If you don't like this game, etc., etc. One person even got so ridiculous as to compare people disliking this game to racists and Jim Crow, slavery, etc. And that's just not the case. I'm sorry, it's really not. Now, for those wondering, it comes with digital content, bonus soundtrack, some DLC there. An ad for the art book, which is cool. I'm glad you could buy that separately. I really am. And the stickers. I don't know, that's the most bizarre part of this, but they're cool. But I want to talk more about, it's just, guys, this game's not going to be for everyone. Okay? It's really not. And I can understand that. Now, you gotta let it go. Okay? What matters is if you enjoy the game, if you played the game and you enjoy it, none of that, oh, I'm sure I'll love it when I get to play it, none of that stuff. If you have played the game and you love it, then that's what matters. It's money well spent if you got what you paid for. If you got your enjoyment out of it, if you knew exactly what you were getting, that's fine. That, you got what you paid for. Now, I do want to talk about, though, some of the ridiculous criticism. Now, I am not going to say that all criticism is ridiculous. I'm not going to say that they deserve a free pass for anything because this is their first game, etc. I do think that there is some to be expected, because this is a new IP, so there's going to be some slip-ups. This is their first console game. So, yeah, there's going to be some stumbling. And I can accept that. I can accept, I can accept 7s. I can accept 6s. I can even accept some 5s. There was a review where the reviewer, he even put in the byline, which I thought was a little unnecessary, but okay, I really didn't like it. But even if he didn't like it, he still gave it a 5.5 just because, it was... very nicely detailed. And I'm going to have to edit this. So to return what I was trying to say, some people, so long as you got, what you want out of this game, it's money well spent for you. It is. I don't agree with people saying that, if this game does well, then all game companies are going to do it. No, because it's pretty, there are different styles of games. There are story-based games, there are open-world games, there are sandbox games, there are, there's all kinds of games. And supporting a game is not going to send a message to the entire gaming industry that, you can just do this and people will buy. No. If they start putting out Assassin's Creed where it's going to be like that, no, people aren't going to buy that. They start putting out Call of Duty like this, no, people aren't going to buy that. This is a new IP. This is not an existing IP that has gotten lazy. And see, that's where I kind of want to draw some distinction. A lot of the criticism I see from this is, that these guys, they got lazy, they made it criminally short. It's an incomplete game, I've actually heard people say. It's a mess, etc. And it's just simply not true. Now, like I said, I can take the 7s, the 6s, and the 5s. Because, even the guy who said he really, really disliked it, still gave it a 5.5. And that's because, it didn't ship broken. It's incredibly polished. The graphics, the graphical detail and everything is amazing. I fixed him. Yay. Go me. But, it's one of those things where I can't understand anything under a 5. I mean, games under 5s are scores under 5 are for games with like serious, and I do mean serious problems, like game breaking problems. And no, I'm sorry, QTE, whether you think it's too much or not, is not a game breaking problem. It can be annoying, and I could see that dropping the score down, but so long as it works well, I don't think that you should be, dropping it down sub 5. And it's the fact that one of the review sites that did that gave this thing a 4.5, gave Aliens Colonial Marines a 9 out of 10. Another site, what is it? Digital Trends, I think, gave it a 1 out of 5. A 1. Like the lowest score they could give it. Called it an outright terrible game, etc. And even then, they had to admit that they did a lot of stuff right, but all they could say is bland, bland, boring, bland. And then give it a 1 out of 5. They gave, for context, the only other game I could find that reviewer gave a 1 out of 5 was Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark. And that has all kinds of issues. The guy gave Escape Dead Island a 1.5. A 1.5 out of 5. He rated that higher than this. I mean, there are some criticisms of this game that do get downright ridiculous, and some of the clickbait titles and everything. I mean, there was even a score that was like a 6-something, but they called it like dating a really stupid supermodel. I mean, come on, guys. Really? And that's really what it boils down to. And I want to talk about that. I will take criticism of this game. In fact, honestly, some of the most honest criticism I've heard for this game came from, of all people, Cliffy B, who, sat down, he played the first hour of the game, he didn't like the cutscenes, he didn't like that he felt like control was being taken away from him, and he said, he said as much. He did say, though, that the gameplay, felt really tight, the shooting felt really tight, the graphics were gorgeous, but he just said it's not his type of game. And frankly, based on the games that he does make, I can understand why. He's far more action-oriented, and that's okay. That is his opinion. But he was fair, and he did point out that the game, is still fun. It's just not for him. But, I mean, it's stuff like that. And, I can understand even people who just don't like it outright. I can't. It's when they get... Okay, here's the problem. Articles for this thing did come out, like, months in advance, nitpicking literally everything from the story to the characters to the length to everything. And I mean, this was just from, like, demos, And I don't understand why people were nitpicking the story from the demo. I mean, some people like the story, some people don't. That's also something I can deal with. It's just, when they were doing it from the demo, that bugged me. And then it kind of hits me. I mean, games like Assassin's Creed Unity are getting, 7s, 8s, 9s. Halo Master Chief Collection, even though the multiplayer was a huge selling point, the Halo 2 multiplayer for the game, they pretty much sold the game on that. The multiplayer was not functioning properly. Matchmaking was a mess, all kinds of issues, and people still gave that 9s and 10s because, the story, and that's cool. That's nice. I like the Halo story, at least in 1 and 2. I played 1 and 2, but I don't really see the justification in, not knocking points off or giving, pointing out that they promised, the Halo 2 multiplayer, and we did not get the Halo 2 multiplayer. Not the same quality. And, I mean, when you can do that, I mean, Drive Club got hit. Halo Master Chief Collection didn't. Rise got hit, but Assassin's Creed Unity didn't, And it's one of those things where the thing about new IPs, is that they're very easy targets because they're and honestly though a lot of people tend to expect that there's something wrong with them. But in this case, what's happened is there's been Assassin's Creed Unity, and they have given it 10s and 9s and 8s and 7s, even though it was a fundamentally broken game that none of them warned us about. Evolve has that DLC fiasco, and all of them are giving it 9s and 8s and saying how every single concern about that is completely overblown. And people are noticing that, and people are saying, you're not looking out for us. What the hell is your deal? And so this is what they're doing. This game, easy target. Tons of scrutiny already. New IP from a developer that, is not big in the business right now. Has no big muscle. No, huge presence with any website. Nothing like that. And so, what do? It's the safe target for you to attack. It is the safe target for you to slam. It is the safe target for you to trash. To basically say, we need to take a stand and say that we demand more out of our games, as they give Aliens Colonial Marines a frigging 9 out of 10. We won't stand for lazy development, and this is clearly lazy development because they didn't want to bother to put in multiplayer. They say as they give the broken multiplayer of the Master Chief Collection and the complete mess that was Assassin's Creed Unity 7s through 10s. What this is, and I'm not going to say that this game doesn't deserve criticism. I can't say that yet. I haven't played it. But I'm going to be giving my opinion on this, and honestly, I'm sure there's going to be some stuff about this I like and some I don't. But the thing is, it's just posturing. What it is it's a bunch of websites and critics posturing because they know they're under a microscope as of late. They know that we're severely ticked off at them because over the last several months, they have not been looking out for us like they are supposed to. They have not been unbiased in their reviews. They have been taking perks and favors. They've been getting rewards and not disclosing it. I mean, even Total Biscuit, when he, I believe, actually did receive payment to promote a game, he disclosed it. It's stuff like that, just be honest. Be honest about it. Give us that qualifier, But that's what people want, transparency, honesty. And this is how they're going to try to give it to you. By picking an easy target. Now, again, I'm not going to say that this game does not deserve criticism. It's just that when this game can be savaged for length, for lack of multiplayer, lack of co-op, lack of this or that, a story that you don't think is particularly strong, etc. If you could do that with this, why couldn't you do that with the others? And that is because this is your shield right here. This is how you think you are going to basically get away with it. You think that by, looking out for us on this, we're just going to ignore that you did not look out for us with Assassin's Creed Unity. That you did not look out for us with the Master Chief Collection's multiplayer. That you did not look out for us all these other times. Because you also have nothing to lose here. You're not going to lose perks from Ready at Dawn because you didn't get any. You're not going to risk angering an established fan base because there isn't one. And because of that, anyone who does point this out, you can point to as a fanboy. And yeah, some of them have been really big fanboys, and I'm not even going to deny that. Some of this shilling for the game has been ridiculous, even from people who haven't played it. And I'll admit I was guilty of that at one point. I did, but I mean, the length mostly, and honestly, length has wildly varied for this game, especially depending on the difficulty you play through. But it's one of those things where I have to review this now, and I have to go into this completely unbiased. I have to go into this and I have to say, am I going to be able to recommend that you buy this? Am I going to, were there things I liked? Were there things I didn't like? I got to point that out, and I have to do it honestly. And I mean, I've got no skin in this game. I've already bought and paid for this game. I mean, if I like it, money well spent. If I don't like it, well, then I'm out. $80. But maybe I can turn around, sell this thing, recoup it a little bit, at least get 60 back, buy something else. The point is, you are not brave for taking this on. And I see so many people trying to act like these journalists are so brave for calling out this BS in this game. And they're not. This was so easy for them to do. Because they are, by nature, cowards. They are, by nature, paid off. They don't want to anger a fan base. They don't want to lose perks. They don't want to lose good graces with Ubisoft or Microsoft or, even with some established Sony IPs. I'm sure some people, are worried about criticizing those. I expect that Uncharted is probably going to be some tepid waters for people to step into in terms of criticism. Now, I'm not saying that those are going to be bad games. I'm just saying that people are going to be far less likely to savage those. Because, guys, it's not because it's a Sony exclusive. It's because that a lot of the stuff that's been coming out so far has either had a track record of not being terribly well received, or does not have an existing fan base to anchor. So, at any rate, this is the thing. This is what it comes with. Going to be listening to the soundtrack as I install everything, and I will see you guys when I'm done. Might live stream it too, so keep an eye on Facebook, Twitter, etc. See ya.